Now it is. All right, solving and graphing one-step inequalities. This is from the book, lessons 3-6 and 3-7. So if you want to do some other help, you can find it in that part of your book that you barely use. So vocabulary that you already know, or vocabulary to know. An inequality. Now let's think about the word inequality. What is a equality? Yeah. Yeah, something that's equal. We've been solving for equalities. This is an inequality. So what do you think that means? Yeah. Not equal, exactly. It's like famous, infamous. Okay, it's not the same as fame. Okay, this is an inequality. And on your notes, inequality symbols, these are all the inequality symbols. And the way that it works is you have this symbol here, which means what? Yep. Greater than? Wrong. Yes. Less than. There's a couple different ways. You guys learned this as when you were younger. The alligators eating the bigger number, or the way that I liked to learn it was whenever you have this symbol here. Whoa. That's weird. Whenever you have that symbol there, when you start to see the symbol, when it's the small side that you interact with first, as your eyes move left to right, when it's a small side, you think small, so small is less. Then the next one that we have is right here, and that one is, yes, greater than. Because when you first see the symbol, it's bigger, and then it gets smaller. So greater. Greater than. But then there's this one, which is new. What?
It's greater than, less than.
Yes, less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. What's happening with this is we have less than or equal to is what that means. So if you've never seen that before and you didn't know that, I want you to write down less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. And the reason why it's less than or equal to is because when we're solving for a variable in an inequality, we need to represent all numbers that could be, that integer could be. Didn't work. Excuse me. Less than or equal to. So if this means less than or equal to, what does this one mean, you suppose? Well, greater than or equal to. You are correct. Greater than. Yeah, I lost my tie clip. No. No. Don't be silly. Student asked me to use a paper clip as a tie clip. No. Oh, I see what you're saying. See, now that's smart. I thought you meant like out here. I'm sorry for doubting you. Okay. Then this one here, I've been writing this guy on your guys' quizzes and tests and stuff like that. What does that mean? Not equal. Does not equal. Now, the way that I remembered how to do this symbol here, which is less than or equal to, if we had less than and then equal to, and these guys were to have a kid, the two of them together would get some of each parent, so it's less than or equal to. See how we have the lower part of this is in the lower part of that? Okay? So it's less than or equal to. It's a combination of the both. Does that make sense? Okay. Inverse operations. Inverse operations is what we've been doing to solve for our variables. And that means that when you have addition, you need to use subtraction to get the variable by itself. And the subtraction property of equality would be both sides of the equal sign. That's the inverse for addition. Subtraction, the inverse of that is addition. The inverse of multiplication is? The inverse of multiplication is? Division, exactly. The inverse of division is? Exactly, multiplication. And then when you have division with a fraction, can you divide with fraction and a fraction in this class? No, what do you need to do? What? Multiply the reciprocal. Exactly. Multiply the reciprocal, and that's what a lot of people didn't do on the test. So we need to definitely go through the video again of fractions with solving for equalities. So this almost looks like a person. Right, doesn't it? He's very sad. Okay, you solve inequalities, so we're back here. You solve inequalities the same way you solve equations. It's the same way. Because we were solving equations last week. We were solving, no, I'm just drawing YouTube back, their attention back to it. Okay. Use inverse operations, like we just said. Show your work the same way. There are only two differences of this. Most of the time, you'll drop down the inequality sign that is in the problem. Here's the situation on the quiz that you guys, or the test that you guys were not doing. You guys were not following the same way that I've been teaching you in class, and you have just fractions everywhere, all over the page, without any symbols, without any addition, subtraction, fraction bars, anything. It's just boom, all these numbers. And if that's the case, I probably wrote on your test, what is this sequence of numbers? It's like a code for something. All right? That's how it's difficult for me to give you any points for doing it right, because I can't tell what you were doing. Most of the time, you'll jot down sign. I already said that. When you multiply or divide each side of a negative number, so guess what, folks? Yay! Highlighting! You should highlight this. It's already boxed in. You just need to draw your attention to it, because that's something that you definitely need to remember from today. When you multiply or divide each side by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality symbol. That's something that you need to memorize for the quiz. You need to memorize that. And then there's something else that you should know. Will it come up? When's the best time to tell you? Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. Now, since we are doing this the same way that we have been, here's an example of solving for an inequality. We're going to do it the same way that we did before. Since we have this, 45 is greater than y minus 14. What do we need to do, McLean? Add 14 to both sides because of the addition property of equality. You have to do it on both sides of the equality or inequality sign. So we now have 59 is greater than y, and that's all we need to do with that. That's just a one step. Yep. Yep. Okay. Then, where's my, whatever. For number two, we have, well, first off, what's happening to P? What's happening to the variable? Caleb. Just what's happening to P? What's happening to P? And you should all have what I have written down for number one written down. Yeah. P is being multiplied by... Yes, there we go. P is being multiplied by 7. So to undo that, the inverse of multiplication is? Division. So I need to divide right here, and I can divide because it isn't a fraction that we started with. Now, do I need to flip the sign? Because I highlighted something above that. Do I need to flip it, Emily? Do I need to flip that? No, I do not. You are correct. You only flip it whenever you are multiplying or dividing by a negative. Is 7 negative? No. 49 is negative, but I'm not flipping anything. So P is less than or equal to negative 7. Yes, sir.
So whenever there's, if you have like negative 7 over 49,
If you had negative 7 over 49. Negative 7 over 49? If 49 was on the left side of the inequality, you saying?
no, like if that 7p was negative, it like how the reverse.
Okay, oh, so you're saying if it was like this, negative 7p is less than or equal to negative 49? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so then I would do this, divided by negative 7, divided by negative 7, p equals greater than or equal to 7. Did you? So you had with inequalities? You guys did inequalities last year? Okay, that's even more. That's even more for everybody to know how to do this. Because I flipped it because you just introduced the situation. You said, what if it's negative here? And as you just highlighted right here, when you multiply or divide each side by a negative, you must flip the symbol. The opposite of negative. Yeah. Okay, get out of there. Thank you. Next ones, we have x plus 14 is less than, less than negative 10. So what's happening to this? What do I need to do, Ms. Potter? Subtract 14 by both sides. Okay. Okay. Go ahead and everybody write down what you think that's going to be. That's not what I had written. That's not what I had written. I expect you to be writing exactly as I'm writing. If you guys find better ways to do this and to show your work and prove to me you know how to do this, do that sometime other, but right now you have to have exactly what I have written. This is what you should have. Negative 24. And if you got that wrong, you must have a number line in your head and you have to think to yourself, I'm starting at negative 10. I'm going to be going subtraction of 14, so my number is going to get further away from 0. Okay? You need to think about what you're doing with integers because so many of you are terrible at it. And that's just being honest with you. And it is your job to go to me or go to my website or go to that crazy thing called the internet to help you guys out. Yes?
Why didn't we have the sign for number
Why do we have a sign for number 1?
one?
Why do we have the sign for number 1? Equal to? There's no equal sign. These are inequalities. You cannot change this sign here unless you are having a situation where you divide or multiply by a negative. That sign is going to stay, as it says right here. Most of the time, you will drop down the whole thing, just same thing. That's going to go down with every single step. Okay? Yeah.
Like for number 1, you have 59 is greater than y.
Uh-huh.
Can we do y is greater than 59?
Yes, and I'm going to get to, well, no. It would be y is less than 59, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay? Graphing, we forgot number 4. We forgot number 4, y'all. C, we have to solve for C. What's happening to C? What's happening to C, Tony? Sorry, Tony. It's being divided by how much? 2. And how do we make that that divided by 2 go away? Who haven't I heard from today? Mr. Brammer. Multiply by 2. Yes, and both sides, right? Good. Okay, we have to multiply both sides by 2 because that's the inverse of C divided by 2. 2 times 1. I don't need to flip the sign because I'm not multiplying by a negative. So this now becomes negative 96 is greater than or equal to C.
Wait. Okay, so what do you mean if I flip the thing in here?
It's the part that you highlighted 2 inches above where you're writing right now. No, you're it's difficult to copy down what you need to copy and process it, and that's why I expect you guys to go over these notes when you're doing your homework, and that's another reason why so many of you are not getting this into your memory, because you just do the homework without looking at your notes again, and that's not going to work for you, and it hasn't been working for you, period. Someday you'll get that responsibility. Graphing inequalities. There are 2 parts to a graph an inequality solution. The point. When you have a graph on there, a closed point means that it is equal to that number. So you can say this, or that with those situations. And yes, I wrote that, you write that. A closed point is going to be those 3 symbols. So if you see those 3 points, boom, you got to go to it. Do equal to, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. Second one, an open point means the solution is not equal to that number. So it's going to be greater than or less than.
What about that one with the slash through equal sign?
You're right. Thank you. Or this one. Trying to think if we'll get to that this year. We'll see. It's an equal sign with like a no, like the no smoking sign, right?
Yeah.
So it's an equal sign saying no. And the arrow. An arrow to the left means the solutions are less than the number. An arrow to the left means the solutions are less than the number. So yeah, it's pointing toward the negative. Now here's the way that I used to, let's see if I can do this. Here's the way that I used to do this. So, boom, 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 boom. Let's see here. There it was. Okay, let's put that, oh boy. Can I do this now? Yes, okay. So I have this here. I have a rectangle. So do you agree that that's just, well, it's an ugly version of it, but do you agree that that's kind of what we're looking at? Okay. But if I did, you know what, WizTeach, go away. Okay, let's try that again. I'll do it with this program. If I had that thing that I don't want either, appreciate your patience on this. There is a reason I'm doing this. Yeah, I've had that happen before too. So do you agree that that's a big arrow? Do you agree that that's a big arrow pointing to the left? Okay, and if I wanted to, I could have it filled in as well right here. Okay, does this resemble that?
Yes.
Okay, and what does that have? It's less than, so I want you to underline less than. And if you look at the very end of this arrow, look what symbol it is. Look what symbol that is. Okay? Oh, I like it. Yeah. All right. So if you look at the very end of the arrow, that shows less than. Okay? So, now let's do it for greater than. An arrow to the right means greater than, so that was going to work again. Right? Yeah. So here's the arrow. I'm going to draw and fill it in again. So as it demonstrates with the arrow to the right means greater than, and here is an arrow to the right. And the very edge of that arrow, is also a greater than symbol. Okay? Now, here is a major point that is not put in these notes. I want you to write here always have variable variable on left. Always have variable on left. Or another way to say that would be just read from the variable to graph. Okay? Read from the variable to graph accurately. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Below are a couple of examples. Is this graph a solution for k is greater than or equal to 5 or negative 5? So whenever you're doing graphing equalities, the first thing that you should do is whatever this integer, decimal, or fraction is, I want you to identify where that is. Boom, right here. And when you're doing it, you would put either a circle or a dot in that spot. Should that be a circle or a dot from this symbol here? Should it be a circle or a dot from that symbol? Look above in your notes. What should it be, Gina? A dot. Yeah, that's right, because it's greater than or equal to. Then it says negative 5. Is it at negative 5? Is it at negative 5? Yes. Yes. So, does it go? So here's our greater than, and the very edge of this is a greater than symbol. So is this it? No. We just said that we're at a plugged in negative 5, then it's greater than or equal to. Yes, that's what it is. That's correct. That's because you're just learning it. Give your brain some time to process it, okay? I think that's the difference of why some of you are doing so poorly on tests. You're thinking that you're supposed to get it right now. No, you're getting the information now, and you're not processing yet. Okay? It's like after I saw a movie Interstellar, for 2 hours, I had to think about it, and now I want to go back again. I'm going again. Next one. It says here, negative 5 is less than or equal to k. Now, this is when this situation comes up. If I read from right to left, so if I go k is something negative 5, what does that be? What does that be? What is that? If I'm reading from right to left, if I was reading like I do, or one would in Arabic, which is right to left. No, I do not. I know how to say a couple things. Okay? Nothing? Would you agree that if I'm reading right to left, this says k is greater than or equal to negative 5? Would you agree that if I'm reading right to left, this is k is greater than or equal to negative 5? Yes. Yes. They're both represented there. Yeah. I'm reading from right to left. Because the way that I'll prove to you why that is this. Because if I wanted to get k on the left, it would be negative 5 k. I'm going to subtract k from this side, subtract k from this side, so now I have, or then I'd add to this side, add 5, so now I'm at negative k equals 5, but I can't have that negative here, divided by negative 1, divided by negative 1, which makes me have to split this sign, so now I have negative 5, and look. That's just a two-step equation. I'm just trying to prove to you why and also to prove to YouTube why I just said that. So these are the same. They're both correct. If you have questions on that when you're watching this again, you can holler at me on YouTube, I guess, or on Edmodo. Next one. So they're both correct. Next one, graph this solution. D is less than 6. Here's our 6. It's not an equal to situation, so it's an open circle. And this symbol here, we have it represented like this again. So yes, this is correct. It should be this one. So when I read right to or left to right, it's D is less than 6. When I read from this one here, D is less than 6 because I'm reading in that direction. So once again, they're both correct.
So do you want us to do the opposite pretty much? Like,
You have to. I want you to have the variable on the left. Yes, sir.
here's your extreme.
Yes, sir. Okay. Just let that process. The way that I flipped it, I can show you how to do that later. But yeah. Show you how to do that once again later, and maybe after you guys leave or whatever. Tell you what, after school today, I'll do another short video as to how that works. Okay? Yes, sir.
Do you think it's going to be a really bad one?
I have no idea because I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just a math teacher. Next one. We are going to be drawing. We are going to be graphing the solution on the number line. This one here, we don't have to do any steps because it's already there. It is K is less than 9. So am I going to have a dot or a circle on 9? So what is it, McLean? Circle. So I'm going to find 9, circle right here. Then I'm going to be drawing an arrow. Is the arrow going to go to the left or the arrow going to go to the right? Left, because it's less than, and when you think less, you think to the left. And then also this symbol here, which is that, is going to be represented at the end of my arrow. And that arrow means that this just goes on forever and ever to infinity, or negative infinity.
What about 1 and 2?
What about, what?
To do that?
What?
1 and 2 on the back?
On the back. We're not on the back.
We are.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I see. I jumped over that. I'm sorry. This one's actually more difficult, so if you got that one. Good catch. Thank you, sir. I jumped right over it. I want you to do, actually it says in-class examples, but since we did this one together, guys, why don't you do 1 and 2? Please do number 1 and 2, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do it. That was 41 seconds. Okay. Wow, that was really fast. Okay. So we have a symbol, and I wrote down what my thought process was. We have a symbol there. It's closed in, so I know I'm going to have an equal part. Then it is less than, because here's my other part of the symbol, so it's less than or equal to. And I'm going to have my variable on the left, and I'm going to go ahead and use G. I don't see G's too often. G, and the number is 1. That's what you should have. G is, or some number, a variable, is less than or equal to 1. Then we have the variable on the left. Then the next one, we have our integer, which is -8. We're going to use letter R. R is greater than -8, because this is a greater than symbol. R is greater than -8. Yes, sir. The arrow?
No, like, wouldn't it be
Nope, look, here's our arrow. Look at this. The end of our arrow, the question is, wouldn't it be greater than? No, because here's the end of our arrow.
yeah, but it's getting less.
So what this means is this. In order for anything to be less than or equal to 1, every single number on the number line over here and to infinity keeps this symbol true. So you can think of any number, negative 2 million. Is that less than or equal to 1? Yes, it is less than or equal to 1. As soon as you get over to greater than 1, this no longer is true. Okay? That's why it doesn't count with that. It's showing all numbers that the variable could represent. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what an inequality is. Because when we were doing solving for equalities, solving equations, that is saying the variable equals this, and that's it. But now it's showing a collection of numbers that the variable can be. Okay? That the variable can be. All right? So let's do, we have 10 minutes left of class? Or 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Yes, there's going to be homework. What class is this? This is pre-algebra. You have homework just about every single day. Yeah, you've only had like 4 days out of 70 that you haven't had homework. All right. For this one over here, we have h is greater than or equal to negative 2. So that means it's greater than or equal to. That's going to be a filled-in circle. Draw there. It's going to be a filled-in circle at negative 2. The arrow is going to point this direction because that is my greater than symbol. That's how that should be labeled. Please do number 5 and 6 right now. You should be looking at the integer. At first thing you do is you draw a circle there, and then you check to see if it should be filled in or not. Filled in or not, that is from that part of your notes.
Why is it, I don't see how it's filled in on number 4.
Because the symbol is greater than or equal to. Yep. So that means that it can include that 1 or anything greater. Okay. Good. See, now your brain is starting to comprehend a little bit more. You're seeing more of what we're doing. Okay, let your brain do its work. It's not going to be a situation where you understand something right away. Yes?
So when it's got the line underneath it, it's automatically a closed circle, basically?
Yep, that's exactly what you wrote down right there. Yep. Whenever it's got the line on the bottom, always fill it in. Okay, let's do this one. We have negative 3. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to circle negative 3. Then it's not an equal to situation. But what did I tell you about where the variable has to be? Where is it?
The variable, it's going to go to the right.
It's going to...
Wait, number 5.
Read from left to right, you mean? Remember, the variable has to be on the left side for your... So this is actually going to be m is greater than negative 3. So that's that one. Or if you were to read it from right to left, you would say m is greater than negative 3. Same situation here. P is less than or equal to 2. So I have integer 2, and I'm going, it's going to be to equal to as well. Yes, sir. Nope, that's not a hand up. Okay. See how I just flipped this like as if I was in a mirror? Okay, that's what you need to do to make sure that you have your variable on the left side. I'm going to do number 7 with you, and then you are going to do number 8 and 10. So write Smith for 9.
Does the variable always have to be on the left side?
When you're graphing, if it doesn't make sense to read from right to left, yes.
If I do this right, I would do that. I just want to know if I did that right, then I'll probably get it right.
No, because this is being subtracted. Do I need to add it? All right, number 7. What's happening to t? AJ. And we undo subtraction by doing what? We undo it by adding to both sides the addition property here, so it goes to both sides. So we have negative t on that side, and we have negative 20 plus 12. So we're going to be going toward, thank you, we're going to be going toward the 0 on a number line, right? Yes. The answer is negative 8. You are correct. So we have negative 8 is greater than or equal to t, but I do not want t on the right side, but I am going to do here, color in on negative 8. You get that? Okay. Color in on negative 8. Yes, sir. Worry about this right now. So if I'm reading from right to left, what's that going to be? Ooh. McLean? T is less than or equal to. Yes. T is less than or equal to. T is less than or equal to. That's what you should have for that one, because this one would flip over to being t is less than or equal to negative 8. It's just flipping this guy, flipping this to this side, flipping this to this side. I bet that's going to be the part that's biggest error. Next for number 8. No, you guys are doing those two. We only have 2.5 minutes to do this. I'm going to work this out. You guys can work it out, see if you have it at the end. So since you won't be able to do this because you were out of the classroom, Juliet, can you please pass these out to everyone? Just drop 5 at the front of each aisle. Flip the sign because we did divide it by a negative. Okay, that becomes negative 3 equals y, but I want to graph it, so I have to put y on this side. So y equals negative 3. So we should have for that one. Good. You all got your homework? Yeah, that's it. Have a good day. See you guys tomorrow. If you have questions, ask me on Edmodo with specific number, please.